It's been a while since I've filmed, so I might be a little rusty again, but I'm back. So yes, I am here today to do my June wrap-up, and I'm going to include a July TBR on it as well, so I figured I'd do a 2-in-1 type of video, and then from now on I'm going to try to do Friday reads every single week on this channel, just kind of a reading update as I go. But I ended up only reading one book this month, which was The Outsider by Stephen King. I ended up giving this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and tried to film a whole review on this a few times, but I found that it was just a little too... There's a lot going on in this book, and I didn't want to keep spoiling things like that, so I decided not to film it. But as a little warning, if you have not read the Bill Hodge trilogy, I would advise not reading this book until you do read the Bill Hodge trilogy, just because of the fact that a main character from that trilogy is in this book. This one is no way, shape, or form a sequel to that trilogy, but that character does come back, so I want to kind of put that out there. But I really love this one, and it's a lot different than you think. You read The Dust Jacket and you get like it's going to be like this crime thriller novel, but this really does have a lot more supernatural elements to it. And I don't want to talk about too much because I don't want to get spoilery, but I definitely say this was one of Stephen King's best works to date. And I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars, and I will definitely probably reread this one in the future because I feel like in this one the characters were very likable, and I really enjoyed the way that he wrote all the characters and the way that the story unfolded. So I really enjoyed this one and highly recommend it if you've read the Bill Hodge trilogy. So this next book, I ended up reading about 50% of it, and I decided that I wasn't going to read it from the library anymore because I want to pick it up a copy of myself. So I decided that I'm just going to wait. I wrote down where I was in the book, and I was like, you know, I'll read it from here when I pick it up, and that was Bone Music by Christopher Rice. This is book 1 in the Burning Girl series. I don't know if it's only like a duology or if it's a longer series, but I ended up reading about 50% of this one, and I really enjoyed it. If I did end up finishing it, it probably would have been a 5 out of 5 stars, but the thing is that it started to get really slow, and I am coming off of a reading slump, and it's still technically in a reading slump, so I don't really want to read a slow one. I want to read something that's really fast, and even though I was enjoying this book, I could tell that I was slowing down, and I only have until the 30th of June to read this book, and I knew that even though there's only 250 pages left in the book, that I probably would not be able to finish it by the time Saturday came around. So I decided that I will go ahead and return this one and probably just pick this one up either on the Kindle or in paperback, or in paperback form. I think it comes out in August in paperback, so I'll just pick it up then when it comes out. But I really enjoy this one, and I would highly recommend it. It is about Charlotte, who was kidnapped and raised by killers as a child, and then she ends up getting saved, and she goes back into her life, and then she's known as the Burning Girl because of the fact that the people that she was with ended up burning the bodies, and they were trying to mold her into being a serial killer herself. And it's a lot hard to explain without spoiling, so I don't want to talk too much more about it, but if you enjoyed Christopher Rice's books in the past and you like a good kind of thriller novel, then I would highly recommend Bone Music. So this next portion of the video is going to be kind of like a slightly what I'm reading in June and what I'm going to be want to read in July. I'm currently reading one book that I just started the other night, and I could possibly finish it if I really get into it by the end of June, but I'm not going to count it in June as a read book, so it's going to go on to my July TBR, and that book is Untamed Cowboy, Book 2 in the Gold Valley series by Macy Yates. This is the second book in the Gold Valley series, and it ends up following Bennett Dodge and Kaylee. Bennett Dodge was one of the main characters from the first series. He was engaged to the lady in the first series, and then they ended up breaking up because of the fact that she didn't think he was going to propose fast enough, and then she had her own love story in that one. And then this one is Bennett and Kaylee's story, and I only read the first chapter so far, but it's really good and I am enjoying it. I always love Macy Yates books. They're always fast and enjoyable, so I definitely see myself really enjoying this one. And I will probably pick up the book that's in the back afterwards, because this is the second book, and then in the back they have the novella of 1.5, which is Mail Order Cowboy. I'll probably pick that one up afterwards or after one of the other books here, but I will definitely probably read both of these this month, because of the fact that these ones I absolutely love. And even if I'm in a reading slump, a Harlequin book usually doesn't take me very long, because at the bones, they are the same novel. They have the same structure, the same outline, and everything like that. So it's very easy to read these ones, even if you're in a reading slump, because of the fact that you know what's going to happen. It's just slightly different storytellings each and every single time. The next book, I decided to add another Stephen King book to my shelf, my TBR, because I would love to read at least one Stephen King book every month or every other month. Like, be reading one and finishing one every other month or every month. And this book is one that has been highly recommended to me, so I figured I'm definitely going to need to pick it up because I meant to read it last month and I didn't get to it this month, so I want to add it to my July TBR and leave it out because I want to read it, and that is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. I actually don't really know much about this book, but I do know it is a highly recommended and really good book of his. I do have the sequel Black House, so if I end up liking this one, I will probably pick up Black House afterwards, maybe or possibly like a book afterwards, because sometimes I like to read sequels together, but sometimes I like to also separate them a couple months apart. So I'll definitely be picking up this one. I don't really know much about it, so I'll read The Dust Jacket and then go into it pretty much blind. And the final book that I hope to read for July is a sequel book to the one that I absolutely loved. And I wanted to read the first one again because the movie just came out on DVD, so I was like, you know what, let me reread it. And then the more I was saying over the month, I was like, you know, I really don't need to reread the book because I remember a lot of stuff that happened in the book. So I was like, why should I reread a book that I absolutely know everything that's going to happen? And even though I would enjoy reading the book again, I'm just going to watch the movie and then jump right into the sequel, and that is Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. This is the sequel to Love, Simon, or let me rephrase that. This is the sequel to Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. The movie is Love, Simon. I adored the first book. I read it about 2 years ago, and I fell in love with it. And I finally did pick up the book, and I did pick up the movie. So I'll probably read or watch the movie this fellow weekend, maybe the weekend after. But I'll pick this one up probably after I'm done with the other books. Just depends like what ordering it comes in. The movie might get me super excited about picking up this one, so I might have to like rearrange schedule, but I'll definitely try to pick this one up in the month of July. So that was the books that I read in the month of June and the books I hope to read in the month of July. If you have any opinions on books, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Just please, no spoilers, and until next time, I hope you all have an amazing day, evening, night, wherever in the world. I'll see you guys in my next video.